Which
and
one?
I only played it for about an hour.
What? Tactics?
I bought it on my iPad and got frustrated with the combat system immediately, and I was like, nah.
It doesn't work on iPad. Great on like Game Boy. As a child, as a wee young Grant, that was the Game Boy Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. One of the highest played games I've ever got. Right, PvP here. Let's talk about these players. And Creighton, why don't you tell me about the group to get things started?
You know, this group is absolutely fascinating. One of the few groups where there are no players who have lost all their series and no players who have won all their series. And of course, what that means for all the players, especially those in the middle, is that this competition is still very, very tight, Grant. Right now, Nina near the top of her group, in fact, tied for first place with a 3-1 match score. Of course, she's actually in third place due to her map score. She's dropped a couple maps that other players have not. And DisK a little further down at a 1-3. So a must-win for Nina if she really wants to stay competitive for one of those top 2 spots in the group, those coveted spots that send you to the double elimination side of the playoff bracket instead of the single elim side. And for DisK, a must-win if he doesn't want to just get eliminated from the tournament. Going 1-4 is practically unrecoverable, Grant.
Yeah, that sounds intelligent to me, Creighton. Now, this game so far, we have seen DisK try to go for the one gate cyber stand on the low ground, which is, of course, slightly greedier. You don't have that second gate where you don't have as many units. And Nina very intelligently got that pylon block. If this is the case, if your opponent does go for this low ground expansion, you've got to block it in some way. Excuse me. Otherwise, your opponent getting too far ahead. Nina has gone 2-gate expand. Her first couple of units not yet out, instead going for a very quick nexus here. A little bit less common off of the 2 gates, but seeing that her opponent was going for such an expansion oriented build, wants to keep up that in the macro.
Yeah, real smart play there from Nina. Going for Stalker Sentry as well, which is quite nice. Very safe opener for a Protoss player. Stalker to drive away potential Stargate, potential Adepts if they sneak in. And of course, that Sentry able to start building up energy very early to get the Scout across. And the good news for Nina is it is going to be a Stargate opener from DisK. The bad news is Nina has not spotted this yet. She's going to rely on that Sentry to do a Scout across the map, get that hallucinated Phoenix out as soon as hallucination is available in about 15 energy. And once it's out, she'll get a good scout. But the Stargate already finished up. I imagine we'll see an Oracle popping out from DisK here pretty quickly. Yeah. Void Ray first, Grant. Ooh, never mind. Spicy opener from DisK.
Yeah, I like it though. DisK is going to be going for some Void Ray play, and that's always it's very trendy. Of course, those Void Rays a little bit cheaper, a little bit stronger, a little bit harder, a little bit faster. In this day and age, in this patch, they're a great opening unit here. They do stop any one-base pressures or anything like that. They're great at taking control of the map in ways Phoenixes can't, because they can shoot down, they can find proxies and deal with them. They can still move around and be used to scout, and I like it here from DisK. And once you get them en masse, very, very hard to deal with, especially if it's unscouted. Yeah. There's going to be Void Ray into Oracle. That's interesting. In PvP, not the most common here. The Void Ray, I guess, maybe just a safety unit as we now go into Oracle. And the Void Ray could go ahead here and clear the path. For now, it does look like scouting going on in the main here of DisK. Did that Void Ray just get a kill?
It definitely did. No, sorry, it didn't. I think one of the probes might have stolen it, or the Stalker. Either way, Nina should have seen that coming. Now, if we check her vision, she does see everything in the main base, has seen the second Oracle coming out, or the first Oracle coming out, the second unit coming out. And like you said, Void Ray into Oracle is a little bit less common if you're going straight Void Rays, but it doesn't mean that you're not still going to go for a big Void Ray push if you're DisK. Entirely possible to see Void Ray Oracle into mass Void Ray from there. But it looks like DisK not going to stay on the Sky Toss for too much longer. Go ahead and drop the Robo down, get the Forge, and start to transition into +1 into, looks like Blink Stalker, maybe get some Archons out eventually, but Immortals to start, and an Observer just to be safe against DT rushes, stuff like that. So DisK playing a little bit more cautious and not going for that mass Sky Toss style that I think we might have secretly been hoping for, Grant.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, although Nina knows that there is a Stargate and she knows that there's a Void Ray, she doesn't know how many. She doesn't know of the committal towards that. She sees the Oracle now, and that gives her a bit more information, but she does not know what is going on at the other side of the map right now. I don't know when the last time she said the hallucination is. It looks like right now, and this will give her the information that it is Twilight Council and Robo behind her opening. Yeah. And she doesn't need to massively commit. You know, she can afford to get Immortals and things like that. She doesn't have to go for mass Blink Stalker here to deal with the possibility of 8 to 10 Void Rays showing up in a couple of minutes and causing some trouble. Now the Oracle at the north side is going to swoop in at the natural, going to try and find some damage. Looks like it's going to be held off. DisK does have his third, and that's a very, very well-timed third. Bit of damage maybe here. Nope, just a big revelation to keep track of the units. I don't hate it. And now this Oracle in trouble. Will go down.
Yeah, nice snipe there by Nina. DisK being a little bit too greedy, and now that Oracle's gone, Nina's safe to move out onto the map a little bit. As soon as that Revelation wears off, I expect we'll see her pushing out, maybe establishing a bit of map control. Nina, one of those players who really does like to be aggressive, really does like to add on a lot of map control and make sure that she's controlling the conversation here. As the third base is finished up for both players, the biggest difference, Grant, right now is that Nina's going to be on 3 gates now and 6 gates soon. 6 gates on 3 bases, very, very scary to the only 2 gates still of DisK. Grant, DisK has not added on any more gates yet. 2 more just coming down now, but it's 6 gate Nina versus 2 gate DisK right now, and this is a crap ton of Blink Stalkers, Grant.
Yeah, 14 Blink Stalkers against just the 6 here. But the Immortal keeping DisK safe for 1 warping round, possibly another battery going to go down. I'm not sure if Nina realizes quite how well she's doing here. With some good force fields, if she can track the Immortal, or even just a few Stalkers that don't have Blink, she can pick them up very quickly, and this fight can start to snowball in her favor. She's got so much more here. I'm surprised she's not trying to take the fight more aggressively. Blink forward. There we go, girl. She now does it. Gets a great fight. Stalkers fall down. The sentry needs to be targeted, and it is. Nina just with overwhelming numbers blinks forward once again. And Creighton, it looks like we're going to be seeing GG pretty soon. Maybe not, actually.
Yeah, great timing there from Nina. She was waiting, obviously, on the force fields to dissipate a little bit, waiting for the sentries to not have energy, and now she's able to blink forward without that shield battery overcharge, the natural, grabbing the Void Ray and the Immortal. GG! Nina is going to grab game number 1, Grant. No surprises. I think Nina probably the favored player here, but it reminds me a lot of the other games that we've had today. Very crisp build from Nina, very clean reads from our Protoss player, and Nina just not looking at all scared, afraid at all that game. Great build, great execution, great plays.
Very, very, very decisive in that she knew what she wanted to do. She knew where she wanted to hit, and I questioned just a couple of seconds, like, Nina, please, you know, you can do it, you can go. And then within a couple of seconds of me saying so, she does that, and it is able to close out the game. Just waiting for the right positions. She didn't overcommit into batteries as well. Forced the overcharge to go down in the natural, and then just took the fight to the third, which is exactly what you want to be seeing. Great start to the games here as we move on to Jagannatha for map 2. And as you said, I do think Nina, is a favourite here in this series, and the favourite to go pretty far in the entire event. How far do you think Nina can go? Because I feel like she's just so close. You know, she's a fingertips breadth from getting to the top levels with your Astrayas and your Futures and Scarlet even. Neeb, of course.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem, is that Nina's a bit of a tricky Protoss versus Protoss player to begin with. And the real problem is that there's so many great Protoss players in North America that are so scary. We saw M. Canning make a deep run last time. We saw Astraya do well. We even saw Azuna fighting pretty hard last time. Neeb, of course, no reason to count him out at all. Just a lot of really great players, and Nina can have that aggressive style. Nina's aggressive style does have a bit more inherent risk, so it's hard to make a call. I mean, I certainly getting out of Group A, I think, is a cinch for Nina, and we'll see how deep she gets in the bracket. Maybe once the bracket comes out, I'll feel a little bit better prognosticating about her chances. Let's hop into the game, Grant.
Yep, we are into the game, and guys, I see you asking for squad stream. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to psychically channel to my beautiful assistant, my beautiful bald assistant, to see if he can ask the people that can be to sort the squad for you. Without even talking to him, I think we can arrange it. So, you know,
already done. Literally did it before you finished talking.
In the top right of Jagannatha, representing Exxon Esports, she is the red Protoss player leading the series 1-0. It's Nina. Keep you waiting.
Excellent work. And in the bottom left-hand side, in the blue from Root Gaming. So start rooting for Root there, chat. It is DisK.
I've said this many times, Creighton, but there is no cooler logo than the Root logo.
Oh, yeah. Can we just take a look at this sexy logo there?
Look at the bigger one. On the Nexus, do you have the right pack? I can see it on the Nexus.
No, I don't. Sorry.
I've got this one. I've got like a big version. There we go.
Nice.
It's so good. All-time great. Catsy Boy, one of my favorites ever.
I always say StarCraft definitely has some great graphic designers working in the scene, some really smart people who are really, really sharp with not just like good graphic design, but effective graphic design, which is a very different thing. Able to communicate with people, able to set themselves apart from others. Very fortunate to have such a nice, mature scene. Yeah, looks like double gateways again from Nina this time. DisK going for double gate as well. So a bit more standard of a PvP opener this time. Not going to be a hyper early Stargate like we saw last time. And both players with fairly gas heavy units to start with here. DisK going for Stalker into Sentry. And Nina going for double Stalker. Any big differences so far, Grant?
Yeah, I mean, I like that DisK is going gate this time. He tried to go for that gate core last time. And whilst I like gate core, if you get pylon blocked, you come out very, very even, but your opponent is able to make those extra gateways a little bit easier and make that jump, as we saw. So I'm happy that he is going gate. And Stalker Sentry, of course, the most safe. It gives you good defensive posture if Stalkers move across the map or adapt to your force fields. Excuse me. And also you've got the ability to hallucinate and go and see what's going on. Lots of Stalkers coming out from Nina, not too surprising. She follows it up with Sentry as well. So in the end, we actually end up in very similar positions. Nexus is going down for both, and we're moving into a macro PvP, Crayon.
Which sounds fantastic. I love me a good macro PvP, Grant. Seeing those late game strategies, the positioning, the chess match that can happen between the two players, sort of trying to read what the other opponent's tech is going to be and counter with yours, or even ascertain what their counter might be to your counter. It really does get very cerebral very quickly, and especially with a player like Nina, going to be very good at scouting out what DisK is up to. DisK gets in here for a nice scout, though, and does, of course, spot that Twilight Council opener. Nina has not seen it yet. Ooh, a little proxy pylon here from Nina. But nothing too crazy just yet on either side. Robo for DisK.
Yeah, so I think we're going to end up in the same scenario in both of these situations, with just a slightly different path to get there. Nina's going for the Twilight Council into Blink and Forge. We have the Robo from DisK. He should be going into most likely a Twilight Council of his own and a Forge not too long. He may have more Immortals earlier. I'm interested to see if Nina with Blink is going to try and be as decisive in Game 2 as she is in Game 1. One thing I will say about Nina is if something works, she will abuse it. She will use it again and again and again and kill people again and again and again. She doesn't mind it. It's amazing to watch. Getting her +1 very quick it does. I'm starting to get the vibes that maybe she's looking to be aggressive here, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Nina always gets a little aggressive, right? I mean, goodness gracious. Blink and +1 really indicate that she does want to do some serious damage, but this has been spotted. I feel like DisK knows, Twilight Council, Forge already spinning, got to be prepped for it, and of course he's got his own Forge spinning back home. One of those great things in PvP where if you see, or one of those key things in PvP rather, where if you see your opponent streaming with the, let me start over. If you see your opponent with that Forge spinning, you've got to get your own going as well. Can't afford to fall behind in those upgrade games, for sure.
Both players just posturing at the moment in terms of units. We can see a couple of extra Stalkers here for Nina, one extra Sentry, and a couple of Adepts. Well, there were a couple of extra Adepts here for DisK, but unfortunately they are going to both go down. That's cute by Nina, keeping her Sentries far away, knowing that they're very, very vulnerable to those Adepts, not including them in the fight. Small steps like that can really pull you ahead. And we can see Blink is nearly completed now for Nina, and she's starting to move out on the map. And as you pointed out earlier, Creighton, there is a proxy pylon, so reinforcements are possible if she wants to move towards the third. I'm actually thinking she might try and harass the main here with Blink, try and blink up in and catch some of the tech. She doesn't have any sentries with this army, but she has that hallucination, which isn't going to run out. She's going in.
Yeah, she is. This looks really dangerous here. Of course, there's
Blink
no... there's no force field available on the ramp there. So the ramp's the army from DisK is gonna be able to come up into the main base. Sorry, Grant, a little unfocused there. The army is gonna be able to make it up into the main base here, and Nina will get pushed out. But getting a pylon is a nice little win. Didn't trade out anything for it. I don't think she lost a single Stalker there. And this great little poke and prod from Nina, just causing some consternation, causing a bit of trouble, and keeping DisK on his toes a little bit.
Yeah, behind this third base coming down for both of these players at pretty similar times. You can see Nina's maybe a little bit ahead, but we're really talking a tiny amount here. She's going to try and take down this pylon. Very nice of just being cost efficient, and even things like this, turning and fighting for just a moment, catching a Stalker or two, and now she'll blink away, losing. Did she even lose? Has she lost anything this game? Just 2 Adepts all game. So a very cost efficient game so far from Nina, who is up in workers, upgrades quicker, very quick to pull the trigger on her +2. Robo now coming in. That's the only thing she doesn't have is Immortals or anything, but very solid game. I'm finding it hard to say, whether there's been any mistakes so far.
Yeah, and we can even see her being very cautious here. You know, some players might be more aggressive. If Nina felt like she was in a hugely advantageous position, a more aggressive player or a less disciplined player might say, all right, Immortal, Warp Prism, let's just go, go, go. But Nina very wisely getting that Observer out, thinking, okay, what are my weaknesses here? What can I lose to? Protecting really all sorts of different parts of her build here. And again, we're going to see this blink up into the main. Going to depower these gateways again, and it's possible that Charge could be sniped this time. It was Blink that was under duress last time. This time, oh, she's going straight for the Robo. The Immortal's going to pop out. It's not going to last very long, though. No cancel available for DisK there. Oh, Nina's just going to escape. Try and play this safe here. It looks like digging a couple fires on this Stalkers, but the Stalkers will eventually get driven away here. Very nicely done by Nina. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I like that. She could have gone for the Immortal, but she probably would have lost a few more Stalkers there. She would have had to have Blink immediately on top of it, and then she wouldn't have had a Blink for a little bit longer. Now we also have a couple of decks coming in. This will be dealt with relatively quickly here. But again, nice pressure from Nina. She's killed 4 workers in the last couple of minutes, maybe hitting the 3rd at the same time, I'm not sure. In total, now 5 workers killed to none, but she's really not lost anything. If we look at resources lost tab here, we can see it's 1,800 minerals, 500 gas, just 500. All she's lost is 4 adepts. She's killed a huge amount, and killing that Robo really does set her opponent back, who's now having to double build Robos again. Nina, she's just going to keep on making some Stalkers.
Yeah, wow, an aggressive blink forward here from Nina. And again, she's one of those players that sees the opportunity and takes it. Aggressive blink onto the Immortal here, takes out the Immortal, and then blinks away. She probably ate a little more damage there than she expected, but I'm pretty sure that this second Immortal is about to go down as well. With the Observer in place, I'm sure Nina's going to figure out where this army is. Maybe jump on top of this Immortal. Oh my god, she grabs the Observer here from DisK as well, but might just jump back on top of this Immortal and sacrifice a couple more Stalkers, realizing that she'd be in a much better position long-term if she took that out. Yeah. A bit of a fair choice here to turn and fight.
Yeah, she does have +2, and she attacked that last attack. Wow, English is hard.
Yes, it is.
She went for that last attack as +2 finished and ended up again trading very well. Now, DisK's economy is great. We've spoken a lot about Nina and not too much about DisK. DisK is already into disruptive production. He's got that 3rd base saturated. Nina has jumped the gun on a 4th base here. She also has those gases on her 3rd a little bit quicker. And fully saturated, so both players now moving into the late game, and as we get to this stage of the game, that's where swings can happen. If DisK is going to pull it back at any point in the game, I'd expect it to be in the next few minutes as disruptors enter the fray and those first few Blink Stalker Disruptor fights happen. It's very chaotic and hard to deal with, and really it's whoever's quicker and whoever makes a mistake first and can be punished that ends up in trouble here.
Yeah, something we got to commend DisK on here is that he did build a Robo Bay as soon as he realized that his Robo in the main base was under duress, right? Which is really sharp, because then he doesn't have to wait a long time to get those Disruptors going. The Robo Bay coming down, and then all he had to do is rebuild 2 Robos at a time to get double Disruptor out. Now, 2 Disruptors are out, and Nina really likes to keep this pressure on, but as we saw in one of our previous PvPs today, remember, even with a Warp Prism up front, you can't warp in Disruptors. So DisK is going to have the defender's advantage here, and this is going to be really nice from DisK. He'll be able to defend his 3rd base, just now grabbing a 4th base, but Nina is going to have an economic advantage going into the late game here, which means she's going to be more willing to trade a little bit more dangerously, rather. Her +3 is ahead of DisK's by a considerable margin. She's going to have a wide window to get damage done here, but she's in a very tricky position. Got to dodge the Immortal shots, got to dodge the Disruptor shots, and try and keep this fight even with an inferior army tech.
Yeah, the army right now, it's nice to see Nice picking up that Observer there as well and keeping her own alive. That's so good. It's so hard to click on those tiny, tiny units and then blink away. And now we have DTs entering the fray. And as we saw, Observers were just sniped. They have to be remade. This DT a long way away, but she already has one. That's going to get the cancel on the 4th base. Nina's just exerting so much pressure outside of her natural here, forcing a lot of consternation here from DisK. He's trying desperately to push this back enough that he can re-expand, because Nina's 4th is all the way going now. It's very established. She's double producing Disruptors of her own. And again, as long as she doesn't make any major mistakes, Nina is in a great, great spot.
Yeah, absolutely. DT Blink about to finish up, and now the +3 finishing in 3, 2, 1. This is exactly the fight Nina wants here. Disruptor ball. Oh, the good blink away there from DisK, forcing away 1 blink here. DisK's Disruptor's way out of position, though, way behind here, and with no Observer, with the Observer over the army and not over the rest of the Stalkers, this Observer's not going to be as effective at figuring out where those Stalkers are. Going to be very difficult to catch Nina on the back foot. Nina's going to have to save this blink, though, and try and get her own Disruptors in from the north side. Oh, she's going for a very dangerous push. They're both going for a dangerous push here. Oh, Nina not paying attention, but neither is DisK. Both players losing massive amounts of Stalkers here to these Disruptors. disruptors, and this is terrifying on both sides. DisK, though, ending up with a good start and getting hit with 3 disruptor balls to just the 1 of Nina. So a big mistake from Nina, but 3 big mistakes from DisK.
Yeah, if DisK hadn't taken those mistakes, we'd have been looking at a very different game right now. But things work out in a strange way, and Nina now up 50 supply crates. Please stop messing.
Oh.
Like, my heart cannot take all of this. Oh, please, no. There we go.
Nina.
It's a big hit again. And this is what I said. These players do have a comeback mechanic in these disruptors. But where are Nina's disruptors right now? They backed off a long way. One thing I will say is Nina is able to abuse the speed zone in the center here, meaning her units can rotate that little bit quicker. She has a better position here. We do have disruptor flanks coming in. First one pretty good. Forces to blink away with the next. Oh, God, please. Oh, Jesus.
Wow, Nina getting hit again. She's diving way too deep with these disruptors, diving way too deep with these stalkers, losing a lot of disruptor shots here. The good news for Nina is this is just pressure. She can afford to throw these units away. Look at her bank and look at her economy. She's held DisK to 3 bases now, right? These DTs in the bottom corner stopping anything from going down. And of course, this pressure at the triangular base, which is sometimes taken as the 3rd base, gonna go down again. So DisK on 3 bases and Nina on, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bases now, and Nina immediately transitioning. She realizes she doesn't want to stay in this disruptor stalker game for too long. It's too dangerous. It's too swingy. She has a distinct advantage in this game. Why not take an army composition that's going to always have an advantage? Going for double Stargate. We should see a fleet beacon down right after that.
Yes, definitely. But now she's in her most vulnerable because she has to keep enough supply free to start production, meaning that DisK, can move up to max. DisK as well, adding in a Star Gate and a Dark Shrine. I'm very surprised DisK Dark Shrine is late. I would almost go as far as to say that's a mistake, because DT should always, like, once you get past 9-10 minutes, DT should always be involved in a PvP. They're so good at counter-attacking. They really don't cost very much once you're up to, like, 4+ bases, as we do see those ping-pong balls fired back and forth. Can't make any mistakes here. Oh,
all these disruptors very tightly tied together here. Nina's going to lose the first one here. DisK now going to get a second shot off, barely missing here, but DisK doesn't have blink available. Oh my God, losing a few more stalkers. Stalkers aren't the real problem, though. Both these players have so much in the bank they can make stalkers for years, Grant. The real problem is going to be who loses their disruptors first, but honestly, even if Nina loses a ton here, she's still in a great position, because look back home. The fleet bacon is on its way. Another Stargate getting cranked out. My God, Grant, as soon as carriers arrive, this game is just going to be all but over here. There's no answer for DisK besides the blink stalkers, which can be all right, but honestly, much better units out there available for Nina.
Nina's micro is very good here, very, very strong. Seeing very few mistakes in her play, completely clean disruptor micro. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 mistakes all game, and that's not been with disruptors. Okay, as I say, she makes one. But yes, double carrier production has begun. Now, carriers don't get good until there's, 6 is generally considered. The 5+ is like the golden amount. For the Golden Armada. Nice disruptor hit there on Stalkers. As we said, Stalkers not so important these days. You don't want to lose 10 to 1 disruptor, because then you are in trouble. And Nina has just sort of bought herself an angle now where she can now collapse in on this base. A blink has just gone forward aggressively, and that means disruptors against disruptors, Stalkers versus Stalkers. It looks like DisK maybe has the better angle here. Nina forced to blink further away and recall. Gonna save a lot of them. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, 7 kills for Nina, putting her 20 probes ahead. Still, again, 2 bases ahead as well. If you pop open that income graph, oh, you can't show it on screen, never mind. If you pop up the income graph, you'll see Nina is 1,800 resources per minute faster than DisK. Will lose a couple of the disruptors there, but she still has... loses all of her disruptors, never mind. DisK taking out all the disruptors, but honestly, Nina at this point, probably happy to trade out those disruptors, because look what's coming behind it, carriers. And Grant, I can't stress this enough. Take a look at DisK's vision here into Nina's base. How many Stargates has he seen? None. 0. How many fleet bacons has he seen? 0. How many carriers is he expecting? I don't think any, Grant. Oh, and even now DisK's disruptors getting caught in the middle of the map. Hugely sloppy play from DisK, that control group just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, the rocks there, catching him out. But now Nina is closer and closer to that point. Her 6th carrier very close to popping, and once that hits, there will be no answer. She is already at +1 weapons and +1 shields. And DisK, although he did get some Stargate singular, he has no real answer for the carriers at this point. He's going to try and fight here, but he has nothing to deal with the Stalkers. There is still even disruptor here, at least 1, I think a couple even. Yeah, 2 for Nina. DisK is going to go for it. He's going to blink forward aggressively, but he's not going to win on the ground. Even if he does take down all of his carriers, he will lose every stalker. Yeah, no, there's just not enough.
Yeah, absolutely crushed there. Nina with a +1 shield advantage with +1 air weapons for the carriers, and all the time just firing with carriers.